All right, let's do it. Learning the full lever is a process that's going to take time. It's one of those things that you have to go through the progressions and work your way up to, but I'm going to break down the progressions for you, show you, see where you're at, and then point you in the right direction so that it makes a lot of sense. The other thing is I'm going to show you things that they don't tell you when you're trying to learn the front lever. Most people make it seem like you just do the front lever isometric progressions. While that's super important, we need to incorporate different accessory muscle exercises and that are going to really support our full lever. So like, just to go here, that's the full lever. Straight arm strength, lat strength is the biggest one, okay? If I had to compare the front lever to a like typical gym exercise, think of it as this lat pull down. You know which one I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. On the cable, yeah, the pull. So that's the most similar thing. You're just using your body instead of weight resistance. Instead of pulling weight down, you're pulling your body up. Pulling your body up into that lever position. And then it's simply just locking those lats in place and holding. Much easier said than done. So how do you start? First step, and I'll have you do this right after, can you hold in the tuck lever position? So the tuck lever is the beginner progression where you tuck your knees into your chest and just hold. The keys with this position, knees to your chest. The closer your knees are to your chest, the easier it's gonna be. But typically people round like this. You see my back? Yeah. It's rounded. Engage. When I engage, you get a much, in calisthenics, we like to see straight lines. The idea that you're gonna have perfect form on your first few tries, probably not gonna happen. But if we can get there and teach the right progressions and right way, put you in a much better spot. So what I'm gonna have you do is, just to start before we even do this, roll your scapulas down and back, and then from there, it's just like, yeah. So that's kind of where you're gonna be on the lever. Okay. Now just think about, you're gonna have to engage your core a lot in this exercise, okay? Yeah. So to start, go ahead, get into the position. What you're gonna do from here, simply just think about driving your knees up to your chest and holding. I will help cue you with the form and everything. So keep those knees up towards your chest. Yep, and that's where you wanna be, okay? Yep, just like that. And come down. So it's tough, man. No way around it. The other big cue is gonna be locking out those arms. So a lot of people do this when they first start, is bend their arms. Makes the movement completely different, a lot easier, obviously. And our bodies are really good about finding ways to kind of cheat the movements. So really what we wanna do is lock those arms, engage, and just hold for time. If that's too hard, I'll show you a couple things we can do. Okay. The first, simplest one, directly related, is gonna be starting from here, pick up, hold, lower back down. The biggest thing is to try to keep that engagement the whole entire time. It's not, you know, you see it when people do their hanging knee raises where they're just like all over the place. There's no actual stability. It's just really important with all these calisthenics moves. Pull, hold. When you go back down, make sure you're feeling it in your lats, because that is the #1 muscle group that's working here. So why don't we try sets and reps? We'll do one set, rep that out. So when you start, just pull your knees up to your chest the same way, hold, and down. And breathe. And if you have to, yeah, touch the ground and reset every time, because it'll make getting up a lot easier for you. So you can actually do sets and reps. Good, good, Kyle. And back down. That's perfect. Perfect. Back down. Let's do like 2 more. Yep. Back down. Last one. And good. How'd that feel? Good. You feel it in your lat? A lot. Okay. The next exercise we can do, and I'm gonna have you rest a little bit, because it's a lot, is all the way through. skin the cat. The cats are basically the same thing, except you go all the way through, keeping those knees tucked, and then pull all the way back through. Back down, all the way through again, here, and back through. Doing sets and reps of those 2 exercises is enough when you're first starting to just blast you and really get you to where you need to be. There's no reason when you're first starting to overcomplicate it. The other thing is, it's always a good idea to get proficient at doing basic exercises. Can you L-sit hold on the bar? Okay, so that would be a good exercise to do sets and reps of. That'll correlate. Pull-ups, you know, actually properly engaging your core and back. It's a big thing. You need to be good at those 2 exercises to really start to tackle your front lever. It's so funny, man.
I had the color changing battery.
That's so funny. So that's really good. That's really good.
I just feel it in my hip. It's like feels like
so it's just tight hips on L-sit is something we could definitely do a full length video on. Man, it's stretching out your hips. It's simply your hip flexors are weak, which is normal. Most people's are. And it's tight hips. It's just tight hips. You need to do quad stretches. You need to do your like piriformis stretches, IT band, and simply doing that before attempting L-sits will help a ton with actually being able to stay straight.
I don't know how far we'll go, bro.
It's fine. You don't have to go all the way.
It's like that?
Yep, and that's good. Keep those tucked, yep, and back through. So just getting used to keeping those arms locked out, engaging that core properly, and pulling from those lats is really big. You feel how much harder it gets as you come out?
Yeah.
So like most people don't realize, but when we do progressions and talk about progressions, most people make it seem, this is the secret tips I wanted to kind of explain that I don't think you get anywhere else.
All right.
Most people make it seem like your lever training or any skill training is go from this progression to this progression to this progression to this progression. And the problem with that is there is so much middle ground in there that just gets passed over. Very few people ever go from a single progression straight into the next progression, only by doing the first progression.
Yeah.
So using exercises like we already talked about, like the L-sit, leg raises, toes to bar like I was kind of showing you, you know, if you can get to that point, that's really good. Skin the cats, tuck lever. But the other one you should work your way up to is if you can get into this position and just do pull-ups here, really good progression.
Can I try that?
We can try that one. The next progression off of that exercise that I will die by is reverse deadlifts. When you get to a point when you can do these, this is the #1 progression that I like to teach to actually work towards your full front lever, because it gives you the proper lat engagement as well as pushing through your hips and core in the same way you would if you were locked out in a full position.
Yeah.
The other progression that's really good is like dragon flags, but dragon flags are more core focused because we don't have a great range of motion with our lats or activation of our lats. It's just strictly a core builder. So the problem that I have with dragon flags is they're absolutely amazing, but when it comes to getting our full lever, they just lack that lat. And your lats are the #1 thing that are working in that lever. So let's see if you can bring your up into a 90.
All right.
And just do pull-ups, almost like rows.
All right.
90 rows is what I would almost call. Yep, and now all you gotta do, yep. It's tough.
Yeah, not too good.
So that's just one to keep in mind to work up to.
All right.
That's not a beginner exercise.
Yeah, no.
That's something that as you get more comfortable doing the first few, something to think about, something to work towards. When you can comfortably, I would say, I like to go higher, like 20 seconds. If you can comfortably hold for sets of 20 seconds here, you're ready to start simply just extending those knees out into a 90. So all you do is take your knees from your chest up into a 90, and that's your next step. But it's not a unilateral thing. It's not knees to chest, knees to 90. It's knees to chest, slowly extend out and hold for time.
Yeah.
Hold for 10 seconds. As you get more comfortable, you're just gonna keep extending.
Okay.
But you need to get at least 10 seconds in the movement to get the most out of it. Help, 2. Perfect. And breathe. Yep, there you go. And slowly extend those knees out a little. Yep, right there. Good. Feel how different that is? But that's great. The fact you can already extend your knees out like that is amazing. So that's your steps though. That's it. You just work through that range of motion like that, and that's great. You can tell though, people don't realize every inch or centimeter is added resistance. It's the same thing as adding 5 pounds to your bench press.